Merry Christmas to everyone. Welcome to Making Dreams Real. New Directions. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Just a couple of words to speak to you today. I haven't been on YouTube in some while, so I want to reconnect with you today, and next week we'll be doing it Tuesday Night Live. I had some technical difficulties last Tuesday night. Was not able to broadcast the Life in Focus Tuesday Night Live. So, this is a day we celebrate Jesus' birthday. Doesn't matter whether it's the actual birthday or not. The Bible said, let every man be satisfied in his own mind. Some esteem one day above another, others esteem other days. So, whatever day you esteem as Jesus' birth, that is fine with us. We just want you to celebrate that Jesus actually was born at some point in history. Okay? So, we all were born at one point. We were conceived by our mother and father, and in that, two seeds came together, and it took you 9 months to mature and grow to full maturity and development in your mother's womb, and you were in a womb with water. You were literally in water. And one way we know that birth is going to happen is that the water, we call it the water burst. Okay? So when the water bursts, the child is ready to be born and starts entering the birth canal and is born. It is a stressful experience for both the mother and the child during that time while the child goes through the birth canal and is squeezed, and some of that squeezing creates different attributes of the physical view of what the person will look like. But it is the birth, and it is done with water. So God also talks about being born of the water and the Spirit. So when you were born, you were designed for a specific purpose. You had specific instructions from God when you were born, and as you grew, those instructions sometimes kind of get muted down, and we don't really maintain that. So there's a guy called Elon Musk. I don't know whether you know him or not, but when he was a child, he was severely abused, but he escaped into science fiction comic books and books about science fiction. And he dreamed of, when he was a child, he read a lot of books, exceptionally intelligent when he was very young, and he dreamed of going to Mars. Dreamed of all the things that he seen in those books. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember the Funny Papers with Dick Tracy, and he had a wristwatch where he communicated, and people thought that was crazy, but I mean, everybody in my family except my wife and I think have Apple Watches. So, and they can communicate just like it showed in Dick Tracy. So we see that. So as you grow, and you kind of become, the purpose you have kind of becomes muted. You may have been abused. You may have been in a very wonderful home where you were accelerated and your parents pushed you and taught you. Others of you were just on your own and you had to learn on your own, and sometimes you had traumatic experiences during that time. But we come to the point that it's time to reconfigure, we'll call it. It's time to transition from a physical child that is learning natural things and spiritual things to a new person. So if you could have any attributes or character issues that you would like to have, what would those be? I want to be terminated from my present personality and what I am, excuse me, and I want to become, like Jesus said, a man that spoke with authority and a man that he had real great words of wisdom and knowledge and power to tell the people. And they say this man speaks as one that has authority. I want to have wisdom. I want to have knowledge. And I want to envision things that can help people do things. My dream and vision is, in this moment, to have a homeless man come and live in a house that making dreams real bills, and running across a field full of joy, full of happiness, laughing and content with his life and fulfilling their purpose. I said his life, but I meant their life. It's not any type of generic. We're just for everybody. It doesn't make any difference to us what gender you are. So I see that. That's what I want. So let's compare this transition to, we can all remember, if we're old enough, that when we were about 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, depends on how your body responds. We'll remember that we called them baby teeth, started falling out. It was a transition from being a toddler and a baby, excuse me, to moving into the next level and getting prepared for your adulthood with new teeth. So that's the way it is. I want to compare that to when we are born naturally, as we talked, born to the water, born to the spirit, born to the flesh. When we were born originally, baptized first in the water in our mother's womb, and then exited into the world that we're in today. So I want you to remember that. And I want you to remember, we talk about, Christians talk about, or religious talk about different things, but we all stress some type of water baptism. And that baptism represents a transition from being fleshful, from living in the flesh, to transitioning to a new life. As I said a while ago, what would you really want to be? What would you want your personality to be? Would you want to be an engineer? Would you want to be a mathematician? Would you want to be an actor? Whatever you may want to be, and what you want your character to be, where you can tell the truth, be ethical, people respect you, you know how to earn money, you know how to manage money, and you know how to manage your life, both spiritually and naturally. So we want to talk there. So as you transition into this new person, in the water and the spirit and the soul, 3 in 1, as you transition into that person and grow just as you were born and totally helpless at that point in your life, and somebody had to take care of you. When you're born of the water and of the spirit, and we call it being born again in the circle I run in. So when you're born again, you are somewhat helpless. You know nothing about the God thing, the spirit thing, the knowledge thing, the Holy Spirit, all those things. We don't know much about those. So we need people that will take care of us. The Bible calls it the pure, the milk of the Word, and we have to have that to grow in our spirit and in our character and in all those things that God has, and our purpose, whatever that may be. Your purpose might be to discover a cure for cancer, autism, mental health, whatever it may be, that your purpose in life may be. And God, we want you to understand what your purpose is, so God can help you and guide you into the right path that you can learn about those things. So that's what we want to happen in your life. That's what you should want to happen. Get your new teeth. Get your new life. Getting ready for spiritual adulthood. It's not about going to church all the time. It's not about evangelism. It's not about preaching all the time. It's not about spiritual things that we call spiritual things, because everything is spiritual. Your brain, your knowledge, your wisdom, how you think, how you imagine, your purpose, everything is spiritual. There's not a natural and a spiritual. There's just spiritual. And the spiritual affects the natural. So some of you have veered off the path, and maybe you're an alcoholic, maybe you've taken drugs, maybe you've murdered somebody, whatever happened, and you think I can't ever get back on the path, but you can. I could go on and on and on today. But what I want you to do, understand that I want this to be not your natural birthday, as we're celebrating for Jesus, that this is his birthday, that he was born into the world. I want you to concentrate on being born again and celebrating your Christmas day, the day you were born, the day God sent you here in this world to impact it and make a difference. So from Making Dreams Real, from Arthur Horn, from Jeannie, from all of our staff, from everyone, our volunteers, and all those in our community, we say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.